Hi, I am Dr. Ananes Koku, also known as EduDask. I own and run the DASK EduBiz Consult, and I want to help you school abroad on an academic scholarship. Contact me, let me be of service to you. I want to share with you in this presentation discipline, as subject discipline. The lesson of obedience, important, should include the curricula of the students at school and at home. The student should be taught how to obey, how to be gentle and persistent in efforts, and it should be a habit that should be established. The student should be exposed to self-reliance and self-control, and that there's a platform for him to come to the understanding that he needs to self-govern him or herself. Now, I am arguing obedience. Now, the consequence of disobedience rather leads to disaster and much suffering, and one is being advised to abstain. Parents and teachers are representatives of God, and that as representatives of God, they are supposed to nurture and train up the child in obedience to God. Child's development, undue control should be the study of both the parent and the teacher. Now, while you want to subject the students to obedience, you will not want to do it in excess, because the child is also a social being and he has his mind of his own and able to make a decision that also counts. Now, you would also not subject a little control that rather expose the child to ill. The child needs guidance. Now, the extent with which the control is in excess might lead the child to rebel, a rebellious heart. You will be informed that when you are training an animal, same cannot be used for the child. For the animal, the master is his boss, his mind, is his judgment, is his will. But the child has his mind of their own. You shouldn't make your child an automaton. He should be exposed to the free will. Understand that he needs to surrender the will in subject to the obedience of the law of God, and he should do this deliberately, following your guidance. Build the child that his will is in conformity with that of what is right. Help the child to come to an understanding of the true force of the will. With a self-control, the child is able to be useful and permanently be successful. Now, the wise educator encourage confidence and strengthen a sense of humor with the child, a high sense of humor, and should develop confidence and respect from the child. Do not position the child where it's as though he is under suspicion. Suspicion demoralizes, producing the very evils it seeks to prevent. You don't want to request, engage the child, than necessarily commanding the child, commanding him or her. Request rather than command. The rules governing the schoolroom should represent the voice of the school. Get the pupils to partake in the establishment of the laws and regulations, so the child is convinced of its justice when he or she default. While at it, you will not want to make the rules excessive, but it should be few and well considered, well thought out. The child is in the position to restrict him or herself to it. Now, the government of God knows compromise with evil, and so the many times the youth will want to subject their will to infidelity and a desire for freedom and to do as they please, bring them to the knowledge of the law of liberty, and that it's supposed to liberate them and get them to obey the law of God willingly. But do not be engaged in censure and fault finding and always looking for ill with the child. It will rather bewail the child rather than reform. Unsympathetic criticism is fatal to efforts to get the child to prove obedient. Do not involve in these fault finding. You should have a platform that rather encourages and gives hope to the child. The subject the child's will prove self-respect that inspires him with courage and hope. Now, notice that the child could err, but when the child errs, better to err on the side of mercy than on the side of severity. Let the child and the youth be taught that every mistake, every fault, every difficulty conquered becomes a stepping stone to better. The heights by great men reached and kept were not attained by sudden flight, but they, while their companions slept, were toiling upward in the night. We rise by things that are under our feet, by what we have mastered of good and gain, by the pride disposed and the passion slain, and the vanquished ills that we hourly meet. All common things, each day events, that with the hour begin and end, our pleasures and our discontent are round by which we may ascend. Inculcate in your child the discipline that when he is young, he will stay by them. and that in your absence when he's old, he will continue to stay by them. Share with me your thought. I love you more. Regards.